The Lost Hero is one phenomenal book. That's it, everybody. Pack it in. Rick Riordan has done it again. Like, I seriously cannot believe how well of a writer Rick is.
How does he keep doing it?
Okay, we're like 10 seconds in and this script has already completely derailed. And for good reason. So I became a massive Percy Jackson fan only recently. I ordered the box set for Percy Jackson and the Olympians at the start of September, and since then I've been addicted to the series like a complete crackhead. I keep using Rick's drug, known as good writing, and I can't seem to stop. What was this video about again? Oh, right, The Lost Hero. Maybe I'll make a video on the PGO series as well someday, or the Heroes of Olympus series once I've finished it. Can you tell I have ADHD because of my writing yet? Not sure if it's coming across. Also, this seems obvious, but I'm gonna just say it anyways. Spoiler warning for everything up until this point. This video is primarily about The Lost Hero, but I will obviously talk briefly about PGO as well, so you have been warned. Now that that's all out of the way, let's try and find The Lost Hero's greatness together. So, we have our main trio, Jason, Piper, and Leo. We're one sentence into this analysis and I already want to congratulate Rick Riordan on good writing choices. Trios are fairly common throughout literature and media in general, and for good reason. It gives room for some great character development, as each of the trio have two other people to bounce this off of. I know that sounds a bit vague, but let's just roll with it. For example, Jason lost his memory due to the Queen of Olympus, Hera. Now, imagine if Leo didn't exist. Hush now, I know it's hard, but please just try. So now we only have Jason and Piper. That would mean that one of the main character conflicts would be whether Piper's love for Jason was just something the Mist made up or not. Now, even if that was the case, I have faith that Rick would be able to pull this off decently well, but now let's put Leo back in. Alright, so now there's the other big conflict. Leo overcoming the trauma involving his mom when he was a kid, and feeling like he doesn't have a place where he belongs. Now, they don't have to focus on just the drama between Jason and Piper, but now they can switch back and forth so it doesn't become still and you're developing three characters at once. All of that on one sentence. Dear God. Or trios are just cool and this didn't make any sense at all. To be frank, I just really like these characters. It took me a while to warm up to Jason and especially Piper. Leo, however, is best boy. I instantly just fell in love with his character. He's really funny and lovable. His backstory about his mom dying is also fucking sad. And honestly, I just want to give this boy a hug and protect him. Also, his feelings of inadequacy and feeling like he had to prove himself, which led to him meeting and bonding with Festus, was just incredible. Side note, Festus is the goodest dragon boy there is, and I will not stand for any Festus slander in the comments. Hashtag Festus is based. Another thing about Leo is how you can completely tell he's a kid of Hephaestus by just the way he thinks and solves problems. The way he helped the others beat Enceladus by rigging the vehicles was particularly memorable. And speaking of Hephaestus, their talk together was really sweet, and this is something I've always liked about this series. How Rick writes the gods and gives them a ton of layers. Except for Zeus, he can suck my dick, honestly. Yeah, okay, small tangent here. Zeus is just the fucking worst. Not just in mythology. He's a massive asshole and I never liked him. I don't care if I get smited for this. But he's just such an annoying guy. His hubris is almost as big as his sex drive, like Jesus. Most of the problems the characters face in the series have something to do with either Zeus fucking something or someone, or just being a cunt. That was my Zeus tangent. Maybe I'll dedicate an entire video to him someday, but for now I just don't want to think about the horny lightning man any longer. So, Leo is amazing. What about the other two? Well, I certainly don't like them as much as Leo, but they're still deeper characters than I originally gave them credit for. I've never seen a character written quite like Jason before. So, his main thing throughout the story is his memory loss, and finding out who he was and why he lost his memories. I honestly like this character arc more than him as a character. Don't get me wrong, he isn't bad at all. He just didn't grip me all too much and felt more like a watered down version of Percy. Just Percy, but without the sass. Though that might just be my personal preference, and I'm currently being hunted by all 12 Jason stans like your SCP-096. He's a fine character, not bad but not great, and that's totally fine. I also didn't expect him to be Thalia's brother at all, and that really surprised me. And their meeting was really wholesome and I loved it. And also the thing he said to Porphyrion when he got revived honestly gave me goosebumps. Maybe I'm bashing him too much. There are 4 more books where he can be categorized plenty more. Although that doesn't just nullify him being a bit of a blank slate in this book. I guess I'll get back to that at some point. And last we have Piper. Piper is the character I dislike the most for the majority of the book. By all accounts, she 100% redeemed herself in the last quarter, but I'm sorry, I just did not like her. I didn't hate her, but she just kind of annoyed me for some reason. Maybe because the whole conflict with her dad just didn't interest me too much. It was a good way to motivate the adventure and create some interesting character drama between Piper and the other two, but apart from that, I didn't really care. Mainly because her dad just came across to me like a neglectful asshole. Yes, he was busy and was trying to protect her, blah blah, but that doesn't really matter in my opinion. It doesn't suddenly nullify the way he acted. And because that was Piper's main reason for going on the adventure, alongside wanting to help Jason get his memory back, of course, it just didn't hook me well into her character. Though she did get exponentially better after they left Boreas's palace. From that point on, and especially in her fight with Media, she became a lot more confident and I started to warm up to her character a lot more. She became far more interesting and likable, and her getting better at using charm speak was also a pretty nice thing to see. From not even being able to talk back to someone like Drew, to literally talking a primordial deity like Gaia back to sleep. That was incredibly powerful, and that was the thing that really won me over with her. And when she got back to Camp Half-Blood and confronted Drew and became head of the cabin, fucking godlike. That completely sealed the deal for me and made me just absolutely love her character. If I had to rank the trio at the beginning of the book, it'd be number 1 Leo, number 2 Jason, number 3 Piper. At the end of the book, number 1 Leo, number 2 Piper, and number 3 Jason. No surprise here that Leo is at the top, and I really hate having to put Jason at the bottom like this, but like I said, he's too much of a blank slate for me right now, but I desperately hope that we'll get better in the next book. I also briefly want to mention how nice it was to see Annabeth again. My feelings on her as a character are very mixed, but especially at the start of the book, it was really nice to have her as the anchoring character until the quest started. Like I said, my thoughts on her are super mixed, so if I ever make a video on PGO, I will try to go in depth extensively. Another thing I really liked is all the new characters and gods from mythology they introduced. The most notable non-god I really liked was Midas. Yeah, he's a complete asshole, but he was honestly just such a joy to watch, regardless of how brief his encounter was. Boreas was also really interesting, and I got shivers when he shifted into his Roman aspect Aquilon. Just in general, the concept of there being 4 wind gods for each cardinal direction, and then having Aeolus as the main wind god. I'm honestly just pretty curious what the other 3 cardinal wind gods are like, because of how different Aeolus and Boreas were. Aeolus was also fairly interesting. Just him being insane, basically, because of the permanent sensory overload was a really nice touch, and gave him some much needed character. Kione, the winter goddess, was certainly a character. She was certainly threatening enough presence when we saw her. Emphasis on when we saw her. Yeah, she only shows up twice in total, so we don't get a whole lot of time to get to know her, apart from her being a big meanie head. And I get that she was orchestrating things from behind the scenes, but I don't care. I wish we could have seen her do those things, or just anything. Same with the main trio experiencing a bunch of snowstorms while flying, being caused by her. Yeah, that's cool, but it only gets revealed at the end, and you could have removed that detail, and literally nothing would change. She was probably the most developed minor antagonistic god, which honestly makes me a bit sad, because a lot of other minor gods definitely had some good potential. Maybe next book. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go back to basically sucking Rick's dick, because holy shit, why is the story so compelling? This is the main reason I got so invested in the PGO books. They are genuinely fun and gripping. That probably sounds obvious, like, yeah, no shit, that's what books are supposed to do. But it's especially noticeable when you've been reading some pretty shallow books with not amazing writing. It just makes it so evident that, yeah, Rick Riordan is one of the best writers of our time. What, you wanna fight? The way Rick writes his mysteries are just such fun. And I've seen a lot of people say that these are children's books. I completely disagree. With every book intended for children I've read, I was able to predict the ending or twist for all of them. Even some books intended for adults. It's not gory or overly sexual, thank God. The mysteries are just genuinely well written, and while I could still predict a few of them, a lot of the bigger ones I was not able to predict at all. Not to say I'm some level 100 book nerd with a degree in bookonomics, but reading is one of my passions ever since I was a child, so I feel like I can somewhat tell when a book is good or not. But CR, maybe you're just biased. Oh, I am. 100%. I could not tell you with a straight face I'm not. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the actual mystery. Yeah, at first I wasn't too insanely hooked as I was with PGO, but that's probably because I only recently finished reading PGO, so I was definitely comparing the two more than I should have. But shortly after the quest started, that went away completely, and my brain finally registered that, yeah, this is not Percy Jackson, you beanbag looking ass. I also absolutely love the ending, just the fact that there are two different camps, one Roman and one Greek. It's just such a great concept, and I'm so looking forward to the next book, The Son of Neptune, to see how this whole thing with Percy will end up going. But to close off my thoughts on the mysteries present in this book, looking back, it all seems so painfully obvious. Of course the Dirt Lady was Gaia, of course Hera took Jason's memories, etc. But when you're reading, Rick gives you just enough details to catch on, and then he goes in for the kill. How does he do that? By writing a banger-ass story with genuinely compelling characters. I could honestly talk about my love for these books for hours, so let's not do that, despite how tempting it is. One more thing I want to talk about before ending this Discord vent post is to briefly talk about the upcoming PGO series that's going to come out. To sum up my thoughts, I'd say I am anxious but hopeful, for two main reasons. Rick has shown through his writing that he's absolutely capable, so that gives a lot of faith. And the fact that he will be far more hands-on with this than he was with the movies instills me with a lot of confidence. Yeah, the movies. That's my only source of anxiety. They were absolutely terrible. I'm planning to at some point make a complete video on either both of them combined or both individually because of how masterfully they fuck up the source material. But from the trailers and everything we've seen of the show, it really does look like this will be good. I hope they just take the story and make it one season for each book, and don't rush it. Yeah, it is quite a bit of material to go through, but we really don't want this show to be bad like the movies. Well, that's about all the thoughts I have at this current moment. These were the thoughts of a complete nerd, so thank you so much for being here and hearing me out. I wish you a great day and all the happy chemicals you need and deserve. Have a good day. Bye bye.